Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into FHIR. That's Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resources.
Right.
We're looking at how it's really becoming, well, fundamental for modern healthcare data, sort of like a universal translator for all that health info flying around.
Good way to put it.
Our insights today mainly come from Jean Vestal's analysis on FHIR's benefits and challenges in data platforms. And we have an expert with us specializing in healthcare IT and these interoperability standards.
Happy you be here.
So let's start basic. What is FHIR, really?
Okay, so FHIR is basically an open standard. It comes from HL7 International, and it's all about having a standard way to, well, structure and exchange healthcare data.
Okay.
And it uses modern web stuff, like JSON, RESTful APIs. The main goal is just getting different health IT systems to talk to each other effectively.
Makes sense. And why is it picking up steam right now? Seems like we're hearing about it everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of a perfect storm. You've got regulations like the 21st Century Cures Act here in the U.S. Actually mandating FHIR APIs. The regulatory push.
Exactly. Plus, the industry itself just really needs better ways to share data. For better care, for innovation, it's becoming less of a nice-to-have and more essential.
Got it. So let's talk benefits. The analysis mentions embracing standards first. How does FHIR help there?
Well, you know how healthcare data is often stuck in silos? Every system speaks its own language.
Definitely. The classic problem.
Right. So FHIR tackles that head-on. It gives you a standard data model. So think about data flowing from a lab, then a pharmacy, then a hospital EHR. FHIR provides a common structure.
Meaning less custom translation work?
Way less.
Yeah.
It just streamlines the whole exchange and usually improves the data quality too, because things aren't getting lost or mangled in translation.
And the second benefit, using modern web standards. That sounds big for developers.
Oh, it's huge. FHIR uses REST APIs, JSON for the data format, OAuth 2 for security. These are technologies web developers already know well.
Unlike some older healthcare standards. Exactly. Much easier to learn, easier to implement. Plus, lots of major EHR vendors now offer, out-of-the-box FHIR API support. Makes getting started way easier.
Okay, benefit 3. A single source of truth. How does FHIR help create that?
Because FHIR standardizes the data structure, it makes it feasible to pull data from all these different sources into one central place and normalize it.
So everyone's looking at the same info.
Pretty much. If a patient's address gets updated in one connected app, that change can flow through the FHIR repository and be seen everywhere else. Fewer errors from stale data. It also helps with, data governance and makes the whole system more agile.
The analysis also talks about a layered architecture. Can you unpack that?
Sure. Think of it in 3 layers. First, the raw data layer. That's your central FHIR repository holding all the granular data, very detailed.
Okay.
Second, an analytics or BI layer. Because honestly, FHIR's JSON format isn't always the best for heavy analytics queries. So here, you often transform the data into, say, relational tables that tools like SQL understand better.
So use FHIR for standardizing, then move it for analysis.
Exactly. Leverage FHIR for its strength. Then third is the data product layer. This is where you build your apps, your dashboards, using that standardized data, maybe smart on FHIR apps, creating a sort of data marketplace.
That layered approach sounds really versatile.
It is. A platform built on FHIR can do a lot. Aggregate data, sure, but also build new tools, run enterprise analytics using things like FHIR bulk data, serve clinicians, patients, and rich data.
So it solves lots of different problems.
Yeah, clinical, administrative, business problems. It helps break down those organizational silos too, not just data ones.
And the tech stack itself, REST, JSON, brings advantages.
Definitely. Performance and scalability tend to be better with stateless REST APIs and lightweight JSON. Security is built on modern standards like OAuth 2, and it's just, naturally suited for the cloud, plus finding developers is easier.
Right, bigger talent pool. What about long-term maintainability? Benefit 7.
That's a key one. FHIR isn't static. It's managed by HL7, a whole community. It evolves.
Compared to maintaining your own custom model forever.
Exactly. That becomes a huge burden. With FHIR, you get updates, documentation, tools, an ecosystem. It aligns with regulations. You avoid vendor lock-in. Smart on FHIR's success kind of proves the sustainable approach works.
Okay, benefits sound strong, but there are challenges. The first one mentioned is an expertise gap.
Yeah, that's real. FHIR is powerful, but it's also complex. All the different resource types, how they connect, profiling, finding people who really know FHIR well, developers, analysts. It can be tough.
Requires specialized skills.
It does. And you also need to educate stakeholders who aren't technical. Sometimes there's skepticism if those shiny new FHIR APIs aren't used much initially.
Challenge 2. Misunderstanding FHIR's scope.
Hmm.
People think it does everything.
Precisely. You hear FHIR and think, problem solved. But FHIR is mainly about the data exchange standard. It doesn't automatically design your whole system architecture or handle all your complex integrations or analytics needs. You still have to build that around FHIR.
Got it. Then there's friction with traditional analytics tools and ETL complexity.
Most analytics pros live in SQL and relational databases. FHIR's native format is JSON. Querying JSON directly with things like FHR isn't always easy, and finding people good at it is harder.
And getting data into FHR in the first place.
That ETL process, yeah. Mapping data from source systems to FHR resources, dealing with different terminologies, making sure references link up. It can be tricky. It's a new skill set for many teams.
And for complex analysis, querying FHR directly might not be ideal either.
Right. For really heavy-duty stuff like complex joins or big aggregations, doing that directly on a FHIR server might not perform well. That's why that separate analytics layer is often needed, where data is in a more analytics-friendly format like SQL. Aggregating is often just easier there.
Okay, last challenge. The temptation to just build a custom data model instead seems faster initially.
It often seems faster up front, but the analysis calls those quick custom models a burden in the long run.
Technical debt.
Big time. Maintenance refactoring. It becomes a nightmare. Sticking with a standard like FHIR, even if it feels a bit slower to start, pays off. You get the community, the tools, the interoperability. That smart on FHIR pivot away from custom models is a good lesson there.
So wrapping up, how do you balance all this?
The analysis uses a neat analogy. FHIR is like investing in long-term wellness for your data ecosystem, whereas custom hacks are like fast food, quick satisfaction maybe, but problems later.
So think long-term.
Exactly. Be realistic, invest in people and tools, design your architecture thoughtfully, and keep talking to stakeholders.
Final advice for listeners thinking about FHIR.
I'd say embrace the shift to standards. Use the FHIR community. It's huge. Plan carefully. Focus FHIR on what it does best, standardizing data exchange, and keep learning.
Great stuff. And here's a final thought for you. As FHIR makes standardized health data more accessible, how might that truly empower us as individual patients to become more active drivers of our own care? Maybe even leading to personalized medicine breakthroughs we haven't even imagined yet. Thanks for joining our deep dive today.